What's going on, guys? This is Paul with 12 Volt Review, and today I'm looking at the Pioneer AVH-X5500BHS. This is their double-din full-size screen touchscreen. It's got DVD, CD player, radio, of course. It's also got built-in Bluetooth and HD radio. And it's also Sirius XM ready. And it's got several of the features, which I'll get to here in a few minutes. So let's open up the box. Let's see what's on the inside and the box, of course. Then we'll get it mounted up and we'll see what the back side looks like, and then we'll turn around, power it up, and go through all the features. So let's get into the box here. Open up the lids. First thing grabbing it, oops, that's the microphone for the Bluetooth. Without that, you won't be able to talk to anyone, making phone calls. Here's the remote control. Let's see, we got screws for installation, and also I want to mention that some installation kits come with their own screws, but sometimes those screws may be too long for this radio, and that's why they or may not fit in the holes on the side of the radio. So if you put other screws other than what's comes with the radio, you may end up damaging the insides by screwing into a circuit board or something. So that's why they make their own little screws. Another one, but it looks like a 3-foot USB extension cord for the USB plug-in. And we got here, this is the power wired harness. We got all the speakers and everything on it. We also got the 1-year warranty. This radio has a 1-year warranty. Also, I might mention this radio is going to run around $4.99 when you purchase it. All right, got the installation manuals, rather lengthy. It works with several different models. Actually, all the entry-level models looks like. And let's see what else we got here. Radio, we'll slide it out. There's nothing else in the box, so I'm going to set it off on the side so it won't be in the way. We got styrofoam on both sides to keep it safe during shipping. And let's see what else we got here. We got it's wrapped up in a styrofoam bag. Alright, there's the radio. Got everything on the box. I'm going to get it mounted up, and we'll look at the back side first, and then we'll power it up and see what the front side looks like. Alright, we got it mounted up here, and I guess we'll start as usual. We'll start from the top left hand side and then work my way across, and we'll see what all the stuff's on the back of this radio. Right here, this is your FM antenna. Some vehicles require an adapter so you can listen to regular radio stations. Right underneath it, this is the reverse camera input. So if you want to buy an optional reverse camera, you can plug in there. You can see what you're backing into. Right here is your front, rear, and subwoofer 4-volt pre-outs. You can have a bass amp, two channel amps, 2 channels of bass amp, 4-channel amp, 5-channel amp. You can actually do a wide range of different amplifiers to make your music sound even better. And of course, this is your fuse and power plug. That's where the power plug would wire into or plug into. Underneath this is your aux input. This little black hole right here. This is for pretty much any kind of sound that you like the old tape decks or whatever has a 3.5mm jack. You can plug in there and listen to whatever sounds you're putting out, like from a laptop or something like that. Right here, this is this little yellow plug. This is for a optional navigational unit, which runs around $3.99. Pioneer makes it. It just plugs right in here, and once it plugs in, it turns your radio into a navigation radio, as well as all the other features. That's an optional feature. This plug, these two white and red, and this yellow, these are your video inputs from like a Xbox or PlayStation or another DVD player, VCR, whatever has a video output. You can plug into here and you can watch the video off your radio from whatever you're looking at. This is a video output, so you can come out of your radio that's playing a video out to another screen or monitor and watch video on a separate place. Right here, this is your plug-in for the microphone. It's right directly underneath these RCAs. That's for the Bluetooth. The next one over here next to it is a wired remote. And what this is if your car has steering wheel controls that can control the radio from the steering wheel, you can buy it in an optional module, plug into here, and you can still, after it's programmed, you can work the new radio with your steering wheel controls, because usually you'll lose those features if you don't get that module. Up here is your 5 volt or 5 amp, sorry, USB output. You use that for thumb drives, smartphone plug-ins. If you have an iPod or iPhone, you need to purchase an optional cable, which usually run between $30 to $50, depending on which one you need. And it plugs in there, comes out, and you plug your iPhone into it. This little port right here, this is for your Sirius XM tuner. It's another optional piece you can get, so you actually have several options you can get to increase the functionality of this particular radio. And so far, it looks like the back of the radio. That's all I see. I don't see any extra doohickeys and doodads. So let's turn around, get it powered up, and we'll see what the front looks like. Alright, we get it powered up here, and probably the first thing it comes to is probably just its little off screen. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put it on the radio function here where it says digital radio. That's one of the features there, just to get it off the off screen. The radio has a nice glossy black finish all the way around. It's real nice and thick. I did notice when I was taking it out of the box, it doesn't come with a trim ring, so when you're installing it into a car, make sure you get the right kit for your car. That way the kit will use itself as a trim ring to hide the the space between the radio and the dash. Because right now, if you can see past it, so I can turn it sideways a little bit, you can see the old mounting cage I use for all my other radios to keep it from showing. But anyway, like this radio's glossy black, has all your main buttons at the bottom down here, and it's also touchscreen. It's also got buttons down here as well. I'll go through the buttons here. You got the source button, which also, if you hold it down, it turns it off, but don't really actually turn it off. See, if I hold it down, it just says off, but the radio's really still on, so you have to press the mode button to actually turn the display off, which basically is turn off the radio. So you have to do two functions to turn the radio off. These two buttons here, this is your volume. You can turn it up and down. I have noticed that some people say, well, this radio goes all the way up to 50, or this radio only goes up to 30. This radio goes up to 40, but you got to remember, all radios put out, or most all radios put out 50 watts a channel. So if you're at, like this was the max is 40, it's putting out a max of 50 watts a channel. But if you have another radio that says, well, this radio goes up to 65, well, it still puts out 50 watts a channel. So no matter how high the number is on your volume, it just maxes out the power at 50 watts. But the more number it is, the more finer tune you can tune into the volume. They just don't go any higher than whatever the max rating of the watts of the radio. So if you have a radio that says, the max says 30 on the volume, and the other one says 120 on the volume, but they're both 50 watt radios, they're both just 50 watt radios no matter how big the number is. Anyway, I just want to spit that out there for a second. This button right here, this is the mute button. All it does is mute your radio. Let's see if you come to a drive-through real quick and making your order, you hit the mute button, it mutes the sound, so you can make your order and stuff without having to interfere with the person on the other end of the intercom. The center half moon silver button here with the 4 blue squares is it's like a home button. You press it and it brings you to all your icons. Of course, let me mute off. The more stuff you have plugged into it, like CDs, USBs, iPods, Sirius XM, the more these little buttons start lighting up on the screen, gives you more functions to work with. Now, right now, the only functions I have is HD radio, which also is regular radio. I don't have a disc or CD in there, or this would light up. I don't own an iPod, but it would light up if I had it plugged in. Pandora would light up if I had an iPod plugged into it. So this is actually dependent on the iPod. Bluetooth audio, if I had, it's lit up, but there's no phone or Bluetooth unit paired to the radio, so they don't go any further than that. Aux Input, that's automatically turned on, so if you have something plugged into it, it'll automatically start playing, you don't do anything else for it. And audio, video, and Sirius XM, if you had modules plugged into those will also light up if you had extra stuff plugged into it. Apps, that's for the iPhone or iPod, that will light up once you have a special cord plugged in. And rear view camera, or rear view off, Actually, you can't do anything with it. You actually have to turn it on in the settings, which we'll do that here in a few minutes. And the mount button. That's the same thing as holding the button down. It's just right there or right there. That's all for all those features. Down here we got video, audio. I don't think those would pop up. Let me see. Yeah. I'm actually grounding the parking brake wire, and the Bluetooth deal's popping up over there. So anyway, we got the video and audio. Those will probably turn on eventually when you got actually something going on. System, you go into here, and you got a whole variety of stuff to choose from. Apparently it's just for this. The system, you got your auxiliary input. It's by default it's on, but you can turn it off if you don't want to use the aux input for whatever reason. Audio video input is by default turned off, but you can turn it on, and when I click on, it'll actually pop up on the screen here in a little while when I go back. In fact, I'll show you. So now audio video is now popped on, so you can actually click it and watch video from other screens. But you can only watch video if your parking brake is engaged. But you can't bypass that. You don't bypass the parking brake because it requires you to be driving while you're watching. That's the little, don't watch while you're driving screen there. But you can be, see right here it says, viewing in the front seat video source while driving is strictly prohibited. So you might want to look at your state laws or city laws and see what they say about watching video while you're driving. Usually if any video where the driver can see it is illegal. So they require, all the companies that make screens require you to be parked with the parking brake on in order for you to be watching video. But you can be bypassed. I'm not saying do it, but you can. There's two different ways to do it, but you can bypass where the screen goes away like that. Anyway, my video still doing its autofocus stuff there. Anyway, get out of this. Back to the system. The RG input, that's red, green, and blue. It's automatically set for the iPhone. You click it over and it'll be for the navigation. But it's on by default, but it's for the iPhone. App sound mixing, that's for the iPhone stuff. It won't pop up until you have one plugged in. Mix tracks. Yeah, short playback mode, display effect, cut in effect, and effect setting. And of course, short playback is how long the song you want to play before mix tracks blends it over into the second song. Display, and of course these are just different effects that you can choose from while it's in mix tracks mode. This, go down. System language, English, you can actually choose, but if you speak a different language, you can, if it's listed, you can select it in there, so it'll change the dialect on the screen. Demo mode. Every radio that you get nowadays is turned on, it has a demo mode turned on, so you need to make sure it's turned off. Mute. By default, it just mutes all the music straight off the bat, or you can set it to mute just 20 decibels off of it, so you can still hear it, but it won't be as loud. Or 10 decibels, or just turn off where you can't use it all, so it's loud all the time. Rear speaker full, keyboard English. Ever scroll, that's if you just want it'll scroll once it stops, but if you want it on, it'll constantly start scrolling. So, if the song title is longer than the screen, it'll keep going across the screen. Pandora Connect mode is wired, so when you plug in your iPhone, it'll pop up on the screen, showing you got Pandora. Bluetooth audio on. That's just by default's on. It means you can play music through your phone, or you can turn it off and not play music through your phone. So it just gives you something else to work with there. Let's go back to Bluetooth audio. Camera polarity. This is for if you want to add a second camera. What it does is if the reverse wire in the car, not the camera itself, has a negative or positive polarity when you put it in reverse, then you can select how it reads it. So if it puts out a positive signal, you set it on battery, and when there's a certain mark behind the radio, when it senses 12 volts, it'll interrupt your screen and pop up with the camera's view, so you can see what you're backing into. If that wire sends out a ground signal, you just set it on ground. That way you can sense it that way as well. And then video signal setting, everything's automatic, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to turn stuff off and on or make changes, you can go in here and change it that way. Let's see, you got the audio. This is still in the system settings, but now we're in the audio part of it. Fader and balance, that's front, left, front, rear, left, and right. Graphic equalizer, you got powerful, which you got super bass, powerful, natural, vocal. These are all preset EQ settings. You also have a custom 1 and custom 2. That way you can go in there and put your own settings in there, so you can actually, I want this one here, that one here, that one, that one, that one. And set your EQ exactly the way you want, and then you go to custom 2 and make it, a little better, setting like that. And so it's like many songs sound differently with different EQ settings, so you can have 2 different setups for different songs. So that's all for that part of it. Go back. Auto EQ's off. You can pretty much leave that off if you want to get in there and play with it. Sonic center control. That just tells you where about the center of the vehicle is going to be, if it's going to be you or the passenger or both. Loudness, got the low, mids, and high. That's just a more pronounced or louder output. That's what I call loudness. Subwoofer on, or you can turn the subwoofer off or on. Usually it's by default on, or you turn it off if you don't want to listen to subwoofer at that time. Phase, normal, reverse. Usually it's always normal is normal. Reverse is an optional feature that if you want to play with that way. Level, that just tells you how hard you want the bass to hit and what frequency you want the bass to hit at. Let's see where we at. Bass booster gives you like your oomph in the bass, more little stronger bass notes coming out. High pass filter, or HPF on some radios. You can play with it and tell it what hertz of bass to not play through the speakers, or you can just let it off and it'll play all the sound. Sound level adjuster, or SLA on some radios. Every source level, sorry, has its own source volume. Usually everything's in the center. So if you're playing a CD, you can turn the source volume on it. If you have an FM, it'll be different. All source volumes has a different source on it. For its own little volume controller, or calibration deal, or whatever you want to call it. That's it for the audio section. The star down here is for register. That's like for favorites, tag songs and stuff. And so we get out of that. Go back to home. So now I turned on rear view off. If I click on it, you can actually turn on the camera while you're driving to see what's going on back there in the back. And I got to fix that. I apologize for the camera. It's automatically focusing. It does that sometimes. I thought changing the direction the camera faces, it might fix it, but it isn't. So anyway, but if you accidentally leave it on, it'll automatically switch back to the rear view camera at odd times while you're playing with the radio. So just make sure rear view is off if you're not wanting the camera to pop up randomly. Let's see, theme, the little underneath here. You got your different colors. Which changes this is for Illumination. Changes the colors of your buttons down here. Get custom, or you just let it cycle through. That's what this one does. It just cycles through all the colors. Screen, you can select whatever color you want on it. Background, you got different background poses. Some move. Like this right here, or if you just, no background whatsoever. If you just want it black, or if you want like a spectrum minimizer, it blinks and jumps while the music's playing. Or you can actually upload your own picture into that. Alright, that's all for theme. I don't know why it's doing this. Luckily I got the audio video turned on. Give me a second, we'll turn off the audio video. I think that's what's popped up on the screen. There. Now it's going to stop popping up on the screen. Anyway, so what was that? Oh, favorites. Let's just go back to the unregistered screen. You know, like if you have a favorite song, favorite something, you can tag it and it'll pop up on the screen here. You can go back and go to it real easily. On the radio screen, you got your radio presets. If you like a certain station and you want to program it, it's real easy. All you do is hold down the button just like normal for a few seconds to hear the beep. Now it's programmed. It also tells you, you know, whichever one has the blue line around it. That's the preset that you're on right now. Right here is your channel changing buttons on here and also down here, which I haven't actually been difficult to get to. So these right here are the channel changing buttons, and for track as well. If you're playing CDs, DVDs, USBs, whatever, you can use that to change the song set as well. Get AM if you want to listen to AM, FM1, FM2, FM3, and back to AM. That way, FM. That way you can have 18 preset FM stations and 6 AM. That's your time and clock right here in the corner. You can click it and make changes. Let's see. Today's the October. I think it's the 9th, I think. Maybe, I don't know. 2013, and we'll just leave it at 12:15. So now it shows, you know, the 9th of October, PM, and 12:15. Let's see here. Of course, I don't have an antenna plugged in here, so it's just going to not find anything. But you do have a tag button here that when it brings the information where it says no data, you can press tag and it switches over and puts it into your favorites area. This is album art. If there's album art that's being projected from the radio station, it'll show up here. Over here, we got your phone icon. You click on it, and if I have my phone paired up to it, it'll show me. I can get into my phone book. I can make phone calls from the radio by clicking this and make a phone call. I go to my phone book, scroll to my list, find out I want call, press it, it starts calling. I can have it to automatically answer the phone. I can change the tone of how it rings, because it will ring when somebody calls you. And when they're speaking, it comes out your speakers, and when you talk, it goes into that microphone I showed you. But that'll fill in information once you have a phone paired to it. And of course, EQ is that. This is your favorites here. You know, every time you tag something, something pops up right there. And let's see what else we got here. Of course, we got the eject button. This little arrow pointing up the line underneath that. That's your eject. And when you click it, you select what you want to do. If you want to actually eject a CD or DVD, you press it. It'll spit the the CD out, or you can put one in and it'll start playing. I'm gonna press it again so it'll close up. If you press it, there's another feature. These two buttons here that actually change the angle of the face. You can go all the way out to like if the radio's like far down in the dash, you can have with the face looking up at you, or just flat. So you got those two features. Something else I was going to show you. Actually, I think that's pretty much it for all the features. I'm sure there's some little feature in there that I haven't seen, but like I said, this is a radio, CD, DVD. Also plays DivX files. It's got a Sirius XM ready, HD radio ready. You can go to hdradio.com and see if there's any local stations that's being broadcasted on HD radio from your local radio stations. They have a list. You can select by state and city and all that. WMAs, MP3s, I believe AACs, 4-volt RCA pre-outs. It's really nice feature radio. It's has all the features you need, and for $4.99 you can't really beat that. It's got full-size screen. Has everything almost except for navigation and silent radio. All right, we got it back in the box and everything. It's actually a really nice radio. If it had navigation, it's probably the best radio ever. But that's an optional feature. You have to purchase that thing. But with Bluetooth, HD radio, Sirius XM ready, $4.99, 1-year warranty, high-volt pre-outs, AAC, DVD, full-size touchscreen, nice glossy black finish around the screen itself. I'm sure there's some features of color customization, USB, iPhone inputs, and it actually lists all kinds of iPhones that are compatible right here on the side of the box. I'd probably recommend it for anybody who has an iPhone or just wants a radio with lots of features but no navigation. Anyway, this is Paul with 12 Volt Review. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have an excellent day, and please subscribe.